In the heart of a vast and sparkling ocean, there existed a coral reef that shone like an underwater rainbow. This magical place was home to countless marine creatures, but none more charming than a little clownfish named Nemo. With his vibrant orange and white stripes, Nemo glided happily through the crystal-clear waters, always accompanied by a radiant smile and curious eyes. Life on the reef was a constant ballet of colors and movements. The corals, in their varied shapes and complex textures, offered shelter and fun for their inhabitants. Nemo loved playing hide-and-seek among the anemones, whose tentacles swayed gently with the current, providing a perfect hiding spot for a mischievous clownfish. His friends, a variety of exotic fish, were always ready for new adventures and laughter. Together, they explored every corner of the reef, discovering small caves and crevices filled with secrets and wonders. Nemo's days were filled with joy and innocence. He marveled at the sun's reflection on the silver scales of the fish, the melodious sound of bubbles popping at the surface, and the gentle rhythm of the waves rocking the reef. At night, the reef transformed into a luminous spectacle with bioluminescent plankton, creating an underwater starry sky that mesmerized Nemo and his friends. The reef community was united and harmonious. Every creature had its role and contributed to the prosperity of the ecosystem. Nemo felt safe and loved, surrounded by friends who were like family to him. He never imagined that one day this peace could be disturbed. The young clownfish's innocence was about to be tested in ways he could never predict. But for now, amid the beauty and serenity of the reef, Nemo lived a constant dream. He did not know that, hidden in the ocean's depths, a challenge was preparing to put him to the test. And so, the little Nemo continued to swim carefree, oblivious to the storms that fate had in store. One morning, as Nemo and his friends were getting ready for another day of adventures, the sky above the ocean began to darken. Heavy, gray clouds quickly gathered, covering the sun and casting an unsettling shadow over the reef. The fish, initially thinking it was just a passing storm, soon realized that something more sinister was approaching. The waters, once calm and inviting, began to churn. Strong, violent waves emerged out of nowhere, shaking the corals and tearing sea plants from their places. Nemo, who was near the surface, was caught off guard by a relentless current. In a matter of seconds he was swept away from his home, spinning and being tossed in all directions. The reef, which had always been a safe haven, now turned into a scene of chaos and destruction. Nemo desperately fought to stay in control, but the storm's force was overwhelming. Fish and other marine creatures were thrown about, trying to cling to anything to avoid being swept away by the merciless currents. Nemo, amidst the turmoil, felt a profound fear he had never experienced before. His mind was a whirlwind of thoughts. Where were his friends? Was his family safe? And most importantly, would he ever make it back home? After what felt like an eternity, the storm finally began to subside. The waters, now murky and filled with debris, returned to a relative calm. Nemo, exhausted and disoriented, found himself alone in an unfamiliar and hostile environment. The vibrant and welcoming reef had been replaced by a desolate and grim landscape. Broken corals, uprooted plants, and an eerie silence dominated the scene. Feeling lost and abandoned, Nemo began to swim slowly, trying to find any sign of familiar life. Each movement seemed like a Herculean effort, but he couldn't give up. The loneliness weighed heavily on his heart, but the hope of reuniting with his friends and home kept a fragile flame burning inside him. Nemo didn't know how much time had passed since the storm had torn him away from everything he knew. However, as he swam through the unfamiliar waters, he began to understand that he would need to muster all his courage and strength to face what was coming. The journey back to his reef was just beginning, and the little clownfish would have to discover a resilience he never knew he possessed. Nemo swam through unfamiliar waters, each stroke a monumental effort. The scenery around him was a stark contrast to the vibrant life of the reef. The shadows of the depths, the dead corals, and the absence of friendly fish made the environment seem like an underwater desert. Loneliness was a constant companion, and the silence, once comforting, now felt like a disturbing whisper of despair. As the days passed, Nemo began to realize he needed to adapt to survive. He found a small cave that served as a shelter from predators and strong currents. The search for food became a daily struggle. He learned to sneak through crevices and be patient, waiting for the right moment to capture small crustaceans and plankton. During these long solitary journeys, Nemo often found himself reflecting on his old home. The memories of the colorful reef, his friends, and the sense of security seemed like distant dreams. He wondered if he would ever see that life again. Despair knocked on the door of his mind, but along with it, an inner voice insisted that he not give up. One of those nights of introspection, while Nemo rested in his cave, a strange noise woke him. It was a larger fish, swimming with impressive agility. At first, Nemo hid, fearing a predator. But upon closer observation, he realized it was an elderly fish, with deep blue scales and wise eyes that seemed to carry decades of stories. This old fish, named Marlin, became a mentor to Nemo. With patience and wisdom, Marlin taught him essential skills for surviving and thriving in this new environment. He showed him which marine plants were edible, how to avoid predators, and even camouflage techniques for protection. Marlin shared stories of his own youth and the adversities he faced, reinforcing the idea that with perseverance and intelligence, any obstacle could be overcome. Nemo, absorbing each lesson, began to feel a change within himself. Sadness and despair gave way to a growing sense of strength and determination. Marlin's words were like anchors, keeping him steady even in the worst emotional storms. He was learning not just to survive but to adapt and thrive. Each new day brought a new challenge, but also a new victory. Nemo realized that although he was far from home, he was becoming a stronger and more resilient fish. He was discovering abilities and courage he never imagined possessing. And so, even in the depths of loneliness and adversity, the little clownfish began to find his true inner strength. Under Marlin's guidance, Nemo continued to evolve. Every lesson from the wise old fish was a crucial piece in the puzzle of resilience that Nemo was assembling. With time, he became a swifter swimmer, a more efficient hunter, and a wiser strategist. However, Marlin's teachings went beyond survival skills. They encompassed the importance of hope, patience, and self-confidence. One day, while exploring together a secluded corner of their new habitat, Marlin shared with Nemo about the Gulf Stream, a powerful ocean current that could potentially lead him back to the reef. To reach the Gulf Stream, Nemo would need to traverse dangerous territories and face numerous challenges. The thought of returning home ignited a spark of hope in Nemo's heart, yet it also brought forth fears and uncertainties. "You're ready, Nemo," Marlin said with an encouraging smile. "Everything you've learned here, everything you've been through, has made you a strong fish. Trust yourself." With Marlin's words echoing in his mind, Nemo began to prepare for the journey ahead. The following days were dedicated to intense training, where he applied all the techniques he had learned. Marlin, with his infinite patience, supervised and offered guidance, ensuring that Nemo was prepared for any obstacle. The day of departure arrived. Nemo looked at Marlin, feeling a deep gratitude and a twinge of sadness at leaving the mentor who had become so important to him. "Thank you for everything," Nemo said, his eyes misting. Marlin simply smiled and replied, "You're going to do great things, Nemo. Never forget who you are." With one final wave, Nemo set off. He swam with determination, crossing through areas that once seemed insurmountable. He avoided predators, navigated treacherous currents, and maneuvered through challenging underwater landscapes. Each obstacle overcome bolstered his confidence and brought him closer to his goal. Along the way, Nemo encountered other fish in need, and remembering Marlin's teachings, he offered assistance. Each act of kindness and courage strengthened his spirit, showing him that he was no longer the frightened and lost clownfish he had once been. Finally, after an exhausting journey, Nemo spotted the Gulf Stream. The feeling of accomplishment and hope was overwhelming. He knew this was the pathway back home, but also the final test of his strength and determination. With one last look back, remembering Marlin and all he had learned, Nemo plunged into the current. The powerful water surrounded him, and he let himself be carried, knowing he was on the right path. The journey was not over, but Nemo was ready for whatever lay ahead. He now understood that he possessed the courage and resilience needed to face any challenge, and that true home was not just on the reef, but within his renewed and strong heart. With Bruce and his gang finally expelled, the reef began to breathe a sigh of relief. The peace that had seemed so elusive for a time now began to return. Nemo, now a hero in everyone's eyes, dedicated himself to helping rebuild the reef, putting into practice everything he had learned from Marlin and during his journey. The days that followed were filled with hard work, but also with hope and renewal. Nemo led the community in restoring corals and constructing new shelters. With his guidance, the fish organized themselves, each contributing their unique skills to strengthen the reef. Gradually, the vibrant colors started to return, and marine life flourished once again. While helping to rebuild the reef, Nemo also reconnected with his old friends. Dory, always optimistic, became his steadfast ally. Together, they inspired other fish to believe in the power of unity and the importance of never giving up, no matter how difficult the circumstances. One morning, as Nemo watched the young fish playing among the newly recovered corals, Marlin appeared at the edge of the reef. His wise eyes gleamed with pride. "I knew you could do it, Nemo," Marlin said, his smile reflecting the warmth and admiration he felt for the young clownfish. Nemo felt a profound gratitude. "I couldn't have done it without your lessons, Marlin. You showed me the way when I needed it most." Marlin nodded, and together they swam through the reef, observing the fruits of their combined efforts. Nemo, now more confident and wise, understood that his true home was not just on the reef, but in the spirit of courage and resilience that he carried within himself. Over time, Nemo's story spread across the ocean, inspiring other sea creatures to face their own challenges with determination and bravery. He became a symbol of overcoming adversity, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, inner strength and unity can transform any hardship into a story of triumph. The reef, now stronger and more united than ever, flourished. Nemo continued to lead with humility and compassion, always ready to help and inspire those around him. He had found his purpose, and with it, a new life full of possibilities. And so, life on the reef continued, with Nemo reminding everyone that even in the darkest moments, inner strength and unity can turn any adversity into a triumph. After Bruce and his gang were finally driven away, a sense of peace settled over the reef once more. The community, now stronger and more resilient than before, began to thrive. Nemo, hailed as a hero, dedicated himself tirelessly to the restoration efforts, applying all he had learned from Marlin and his own journey. The days passed with steady progress. Nemo led the efforts to rebuild damaged corals and create new habitats. With his leadership and the cooperation of all the reef inhabitants, the once vibrant colors and bustling marine life gradually returned. As Nemo worked alongside his friends, he also took time to reflect on his journey. He realized how far he had come, from a young clownfish swept away by a storm to a leader who had faced and overcome tremendous challenges. The lessons of resilience and unity that he had learned along the way shaped his every action. One day, as he supervised the planting of new coral colonies, Nemo saw Marlin approaching. His mentor's presence brought a rush of emotions: gratitude, respect, and a deep bond forged through shared hardships. Marlin's eyes twinkled with pride as he surveyed the thriving reef. "You've done something incredible, Nemo," Marlin said softly, his voice filled with admiration. "You've not only saved the reef but also inspired everyone around you. I couldn't be prouder." Nemo felt a swell of pride and humility. "I couldn't have done it without your guidance, Marlin," he replied, his voice steady with sincerity. "You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself." Marlin nodded knowingly, a smile spreading across his weathered face. "Remember, Nemo," he said gently, "true strength comes from within. And you've proven that you have a heart as strong as the ocean itself." Together, Nemo and Marlin swam through the now thriving reef, observing the bustling marine life and the vibrant corals that stood as a testament to their resilience. Nemo knew that his journey was not just about returning home but about discovering his own inner strength and leadership. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, Nemo continued to lead with compassion and wisdom. His story became legend among the sea creatures, a tale of courage and determination that inspired generations to come. And in every ripple of the ocean, Nemo's spirit of resilience and unity echoed, reminding all who heard of the power of hope and the triumph of the human, or rather, fish, spirit. The story of Nemo is a powerful reminder that even in the toughest circumstances, our capacity for resilience and overcoming adversity can lead us to great achievements. He faced storms, loneliness, and immense challenges, yet found strength within himself and from those around him not only to survive but also to thrive and inspire others. It stands as a testament to the importance of hope, community unity, and self-belief, demonstrating that with determination and courage, we can turn hardships into opportunities for growth and positive change. If this story touched your heart, share it with your friends and subscribe to our channel. Leave in the comments your stories that marked your life. And may all the best happen to you, and I hope to see you in the next video.